In the previous episode, I drove to Houston and then flew to New York City. I then spent 3 months looking for an apartment and then furnishing it. Now it was time for me to return to California. But first, I had to fly back to Houston where I left my car. You not only have to pay for food on this cheaper flight, but you also have to pay for water. But ice was free, so I chilled on ice for the rest of the flight.
There was no confirmed.
My nephew picked me up from the airport, and I was back at the wood the next day. I wanted to get back home to California before the 49ers game against the Chiefs. It's the rematch of the last year's Super Bowl game. That was 2 weeks away though, so I had some time to explore the Southwest. Here is the route I took to get back to California. I've traveled through Utah and Colorado several times already, so I'm skipping them this time. I would instead explore Arizona and New Mexico, the other two of the Four Corner states. I will go to Gila Wilderness in New Mexico. Then I'll continue to Superstition Mountains, Mogollon Rim, and Page in Arizona. Then I will finish at Buckskin Gulch and Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. But first, I will go to Big Bend National Park. I don't come this far south too often, so I thought I should take the opportunity to explore Big Bend, which is hard to reach otherwise. The plan for the first day was to get to Fort Stockton 5 miles away. I didn't quite make it. I made a stop at Junction, Texas for charging, and then slept in my car in Ozona. Next morning, I made it to Fort Stockton, and then all the way to Terlingua, the gateway town to Big Bend. Alright, here we are, in the Big Bend National Park. This is a spectacular rock formation. Certainly is worthy of a national park. It was already noon when I got to Kizzle's Basin. I fixed a ham and cheese sandwich for lunch, and then I was off to Lost Mine Trail. It is one of the most scenic trails in Big Bend, so I had to get it out of the way first. I mean, you never know, right? You may have to cut the trip short, so it's always a good idea to tackle the best portion first. This is the view towards Mexico, I believe. The mountains continue to Mexico past Rio Grande, through the eastern Sierra Madre, all the way to Mexico City. The nature apparently doesn't respect the human border. The mountains were here well before us, after all. I came across a list of campsites that are first come first served while I was searching for campgrounds. Grapevine Hill was among them. I figured I should set up the tent first and then return to Kizzle's Basin to hike the Window Trail. Someone came along just as I was unpacking and told me that they reserved the site. It turned out there was no first come first served site in the entire park. I apparently had bad information. I went all the way to Panthers Junction Visitor Center to verify that. By the time I got back, I didn't have much time left for another trail. So I went back to Terlingua in search of a place to sleep. I ended up sleeping in my car at Base Camp Terlingua while charging my car there. Base Camp Terlingua provides various lodging options like tents, as well as regular hotel rooms. A water faucet was conveniently located next to the charger, so I was able to take towel baths before sleeping. The charger itself was by Cafe Venga. I fixed my dinner, probably pasta or instant ramen, and used the Wi-Fi for a while to plan for the next day, and then went to sleep. So here I am in the Cafe Venga, I think, part of the base camp Trolinga. They have J1772 charger, so I just plug in my car. I can charge it for free, but I'll probably pay them $20. I get to charge for 2 nights, and I'm gonna sleep in the car while charging as well. So basically $20 for charging and lodging for two nights. You can't get a better deal than that, right? So tomorrow I'm gonna go into the park again and do South Rim Loop. That's 12 miles, I think. So it's gonna take all day, and then I come back here and charge some more. Then go back into park and do Santa Elena Canyon, and then I'll go back out to Alpine. So there'll be 3 days in Big Bend National Park. So 2 more days, and then I'll be heading towards New Mexico. Actually, I didn't spend 3 days in Big Bend. I finished South Rim the next day and went to Santa Elena Canyon in the evening. I was a bit sticky after the long hike, and I needed a shower. So I went alpine from Santa Elena Canyon and slept there in a cheap motel. So it was a 2-day trip, not 3. Early next morning, I pulled out of Cafe Venga and got to Kisses Basin before the sunrise. I had my breakfast of course cereal and coffee and clipped my toenails in the parking lot, and then I was on the trail. There was a little bit of a traffic jam on the trail. A bear and a cub were having their breakfast. They are apparently used to hikers and refused to budge. It's not a good idea to disturb us with a cub, so we waited for a while. Then we forced the issue when there were enough of us on both sides of the trail. The bear didn't bat an eye. This is endless switchbacks. I think we're getting close to the trail to Emory Peak. Oh boy, check out this view. Coming up here, following the creek, I didn't like it. It was claustrophobic. But this view, this is worth all the hard work. Yeah, check it out. Again, I was looking south towards Mexico from the South Rim. The rim was named relative to Quizos Basin, not the river. In Grand Canyon, South Rim is in the south of the river. Here it is in the north. It is called South Rim, however, because it's in the south of Quizos Basin. It was rather disappointing till I realized that the direction was relative to the basin, not the river. It's a stunning view. You are looking down from the desert valley from 2,000 feet up. It's unlike any other. Badlands and Death Valley has similar views from the rim, but theirs is beige and flat. The views in Canyonlands are red and brown and flat. Here, on the other hand, the brown and sage green rolling hills spread out under you. If I have to choose, the views from Farcolli Outlook just outside Death Valley is the closest, but the view there is from only a few hundred feet above. You should come here and see this view from the south rim of Big Bend, because it's different from all the others. Done with the south rim, I headed to Santa Ana Canyon, which was on the way back to Terlingua. Actually, it was 30 miles out of the way. You have to turn south of the main road and drive quite a while to get to Santa Ana Canyon. The road to Santa Ana Canyon looked pretty much like Death Valley. The land between the mountains and the Rio Grande to the south is a parched desert. People get impressed by the Martian landscape, but I'm into Death Valley. And I didn't come out all the way here just for a replica. The canyon itself looked like Amargosa River Valley too, with the towering cliff on one side of the river and the desert on the other side. I wasn't too impressed with the Santa Ana Canyon, I have to say. Maybe I should have taken another day, as I originally planned, to explore and appreciate the canyon in more detail. Maybe I'll do that next time and kayak down the river and through the canyon when the water is more plentiful. The river looked dry when I viewed from Santa Ana Canyon Overlook. I stopped at the river access on the way out and got close to it, and there was some water. The river was actually flowing very slowly. I drove back out to Alpine and got to Tesla station, with just a mile left in my tank. I had to hype a mile to get there, and the cop stopped me just as I pulled into the station. A erratic speed late at night must made him think that I was driving drunk. He bought my explanation and let me go without a ticket. I then got to the motel just about a mile from there around 11 p.m. and checked in for the night. So I checked into America's Best Value in Alpine last night. Had a really good sleep, shower, and everything. Oh, and the laundry. And now I'm about to take off to Deming, New Mexico, on my way to Gila National Forest. I was off to Gila Wilderness next morning, but first I had to stop at Deming, New Mexico to refuel. I've been here several times, but it doesn't look familiar to me, probably because it isn't a generic gas station. A familiar look doesn't make impression on memory, paradoxically making it look unfamiliar when you return. From Deming, I drove to Silver City, the gateway to Gila Wilderness. The plan was to camp at Pine Flat Campground off Highway 15, about 30 minutes north. But I poked around as I was going and found a large dispersed lot off Signal Peak Road. I decided to bed down there for the night. It was getting dark, and I wasn't sure if I'll be able to find Pine Flat Campground. Good thing I did, because there was no campground, at least not at the coordinate that I got from freecampsite.net. A ranger came by while I was enjoying my cold cereal and hot coffee in the morning and told me that the area is not closed. They were doing a prescott burning. I finished my breakfast quickly and I was off to Gila Visitor Center. Gila National Forest, just as the sun rises. The Middle Fork Trail was just around the corner from the visitor center. I chatted with the ranger for a while, and he told me about the loop that connects the Middle Fork Trail with the Little Bear Canyon. Right there and then, I changed my plan for the day hike to a 2-day backpacking through the 15-mile loop. I packed up my bag, and I was off to Jordan Hot Spring on Middle Fork Trail. I would come back through Little Bear Canyon Trail. Okay, here's the first water crossing. The visitor center employee told me that there'll be 23 water crossings on this trail. So I decided to wear my water shoes instead of regular hiking shoes. Oh, this is a hot spring. I was getting cold. This morning is about 50 degrees, and this hot spring feels really well, really good. I would like to take a dip, but I got a way to go, so I think I'll continue. I should have taken a dip in that hot spring. There was no other hot spring till Jordan Hot Spring on the trail. And Jordan Hot Spring, as good as it looked, was not hot. It was a lukewarm spring. So this is like a water crossing number 10. And it's got a beautiful view of the canyon. It's kind of like a Zion National Park. Very nice. The view started turning spectacular already. Who knew there was such a deep and beautiful canyon in southern New Mexico? You would think you had to go to north to Taos Mountains to find something like this. Something like a Rio Grande Gorge, I mean. Rio Grande Gorge is, well, more grand, but this felt more spectacular. Possibly because I was looking up from the bottom rather than looking down from the rim. That's Peter from upstate New York. He left the Canadian border several months ago and is now finishing up CDT with only a week to go. I interviewed him and the video got lost as usual. This looked like a good place for lunch. I unfurled my Helinox Zero chair in the water and perched on it. This chair, I'll tell you, is worth its weight in poise. There's nothing like being able to recline on the trail and rest. Man, I'll tell you, the view is getting better and better. Scenery here looked more Asiatic than Western. It looked like a Zhangjiajie in China. In case you didn't know, that's where they filmed the movie Avatar. This almost looks like a Chinese painting. It's a pine and soaring rocks. Look, the trail disappeared again. This doesn't look like trail. We'll try maybe a few more yards. Yep, this is no trail. I'm gonna backtrack. Okay, so this is a cliff, so there can be a trail over this way. It has to be on the other side of the river. Is there a trail down this way? I don't see it, but I bet there's one over that way. So I'm gonna cross over. Okay, see, the trail goes over that way. So I had to cross over the river. I came to this beautiful site by the river, surrounded by the cliff, about a mile before Jordan Hot Spring. I decided to camp there for the night, and then day hike to the hot spring next morning. Seems like a good spot. Guess what? It started raining a little. It gets chilly. So I think I'm going to go to hot spring and dip for a while. It'll be nice. Hope it rains. I love dipping in hot springs while it rains. This is a beautiful spot. The brook coming down to the river. It's really clear. It almost looks like a hot spring. Yeah, it is a lukewarm spring, not a hot spring. So maybe this is a Jordan hot spring. The old man ranger told me that the Jordan hot spring is lukewarm. I think I'm gonna go up maybe another half a mile, see if I can find something warmer. If not, I'll come back down here. Looks like I found it. This is the source of warm water. And this looks like hot spring tub. Hey, wait. I love it. Let's see how it feels. It's nice and warm. I like it. It's a beautiful hot spring. I have it all by myself. Okay, now I'm returning back to my tent site. So, okay, I'm gonna take a bath and then eat my dinner and crash. It's about, let's see, what time is it? 5:47. It's getting dark because it's inside a canyon. Okay, well, I'm all washed and fed, so I'm ready to go to sleep. It's been really good day. Okay, I'm at the junction of Little Bear Canyon and Middle Fork Trail. This is Little Bear Canyon. Little Bear Canyon was a slot canyon. One shot of it, you go through rolling hills, and the views get rather plain. If you want the views of the cliffs and the water all the way, you might want to continue on the Middle Fork Trail to get back to the trailhead. It will take you directly back to your car as well. Little Bear Canyon Trail, on the other hand, ends in TJ Corral, and you will have to walk in the pavement for a mile to get back to the Middle Fork Trailhead where your car is. I'm pretty sure I'll be back here someday. Next time I'll probably do West Fork to Middle Fork, which will take 4 to 5 days. Ooh, cold apple juice. I drove back to Silver City and got my car charged at the visitor center for a while. Then I picked up my dinner at Gold Star Chinese Buffet and checked into Motel 6. Next morning, I drove back to Deming Tesla charging station. I walked around the Silver City historic downtown while charging the car. It was right across the bridge from the visitor center. It wasn't much different from all the other old towns in the southwest, to tell you the truth. It was pretty much empty though, unlike other tourist towns like Sedona or Ouray in Colorado. New Mexico, for some reason, is not getting as many visitors as other Four Corner states. So I checked into Motel 6 in Silver City last night. So I took a shower, took a good rest, planned out the trip, and I'm ready to move on to Arizona. Now I'm heading back to Deming to charge my car. This is one thing about having electric. I can't go directly towards the Phoenix. I have to make a detour along the line of a supercharger. Back in Deming to Tucson. This was the same road that I took on my way to Texas 3 months ago in the opposite direction. I would prefer to take the Route 70 from Lordsburg, the route I haven't taken yet. But there's no charging stations on the Route 70, so I had to stick to Interstate 10. Byways are always more interesting than boring interstates, except for I-70 through Colorado perhaps. But I'm tethered to the interstates half the time because of the EV charging. Now I'm off to Tucson, Arizona.
Now take exit 273 on the right. Now turn right.
Man, it's pretty warm in Tucson. It's 100 degrees in the middle of October. The mountains behind is Saguaro National Park. I didn't know there was a national park in Tucson. I would have planned to stop if I did. I probably didn't miss much though. I was going to Superstition Mountains, and there were plenty of saguaro cacti there. The temperature was climbing as I was driving. It was 110 when I got to Phoenix, the same temperature it was in 3 months ago on my way to Houston. It turned out Phoenix is almost 2,000 feet lower than Tucson, which makes it about 10 degrees warmer. 110 in the middle of October, can you believe that? It's been extraordinarily warm in the southwest this year, and the global warming has something to do with it, I'm sure. I unexpectedly gained 1 hour coming from New Mexico. Arizona doesn't have daylight savings time, so they are 1 hour behind New Mexico, even though they are in the same time zone. Now I'm on my way to Peralta Regional Park. That's Superstition Mountains in the sunset. I got to the trail ahead. It's about 20 minutes left before the sunset. See if I can make it up. It's about 3 miles. I'm gonna carry my headlamp just in case it gets too dark. But I should be able to make it, I think. It took a while for me to get there, and now I had about 30 minutes of daylight left. It's only a mile and a half to the cave, so I should be able to make it. So I thought. I got lost. The trail wasn't well marked, and I went down to the ravine. And it got dark very quickly once the sun went down, and I wasn't going to see anything even if I make it to the cave. I decided to turn around with only about a quarter mile to go. Whew. And my car is where I left it. It was still hot and I was sweaty. I pulled into a secluded spot in the park and took a bath under the stars. Next morning, I was off to Los Dutchman State Park for a flat iron trail. This is my usual nocturnal breakfast. Before the state park was the Lost Dutchman Museum. It wasn't open yet, so I just walked around and took some pictures. Sacramento Goldfield Ghost Town.
Now bear left.
I guess this used to be a gold mine. Then came Goldfield Ghost Town. The town sprang up in 1890s during the gold rush. It lasted only 5 years, and the town went dark when the gold was gone. The town boasted dozens of buildings and several thousand inhabitants in its heyday. Now it's a tourist attraction with the Western theme entertainment. Minus grill and ice cream. Huh. So they liked ice cream even back a century ago, at least. And the bank right above Shane Gallery. Huh. Just came back to Shane downstairs and go upstairs to rob the bank. Look at this jail. It's tiny little adobe. Oh, this is a small town, so I guess it's in the big jail. Still have the criminals, I guess. I'm gonna check out jail rules. Jail rules: number 1, no complaining, no profanity, no loud talk. This is like a schoolhouse. 2 visits to our house daily. Wow, that's rough. Oh, I guess they had a urinal inside. So 2 visits to our house is probably for number 2. Meals, beans, bread, water. That's pretty much my diet. And this looks like a gallows. Huh. Great. You take the prisoner, move 10 feet, and hang him. So I'm at Lost Dutchman State Park. I'm gonna try Siphon Trail. This is close halfway up because of fire danger. So I'm gonna go up as far as I can and see if I can get some view. The canyon view is supposed to be the main attraction, but apparently that's closed. So I'm gonna go up about a mile and a half and see what kind of view I get. Superstition mountains were formed by volcanic activities through the process called upheaval. The magma underneath pushed up the earth above, and the land turned into the mountains that it is today after years of erosion. Phoenix is actually quite a beautiful place with the Superstition Mountains and Salt River right next to it. It's no wonder it became the mega city it is today. It would have been one of the best places to live if it weren't for the summer heat. But then you could say the same thing about Las Vegas too, I guess. The second half of the trail was supposed to be closed due to fire danger, according to the ranger at the entrance. But I didn't see any signage that the ranger told me to watch out for, so I continued on. I probably wouldn't have stopped even if there was a sign. It's not like I come here every day. I went up the hill too fast yesterday to get to Wave Cave, and I was paying the price for it. I still have a little bit of MCFs left and suffer from post-exertional sickness. The running up the hill was enough to trigger the sickness, and I wasn't able to reach my peak performance today. I got gassed out after a few miles and had to turn around. The hot temperature probably didn't help either. So the Superstition Mountains were a bust. I'll come back probably in the winter the next time and do multi-day backpacking. There are running waters in these mountains in the winter, so you can backpack. I was finally off to Apache Trail. It's a spectacular route in the Salt River Canyon that has been closed for 5 years. It just reopened a week before I got there. Here's the walk through it from Phoenix to Roosevelt. If you're in the Phoenix area, you really should do this trail. Down Fishes Creek Hills to the canyon, and then back up across the creek. It's absolutely spectacular. They'll tell you it's a dangerous road and all that, but don't let that scare you off. If I did it in Amsterdam with the French clearance, you can't do it in any vehicle. Just keep your eyes on the road and you'll be fine. Apparently cars used to fall off the cliff. But there are railings now, so you don't have to worry about that too much. I decided to have my lunch and cool off in the water at Canyon Lake. I was pretty sweaty from hiking Superstition Mountains, so I had to wash myself too. Then I drove to Tortilla Flat, just a few miles up the trail, and tried off while enjoying the view. Okay, I got the RC Cola from the vending machine, $2.50. So I'm gonna sit here for a while and enjoy my cola and enjoy the view. And this is the view that I'm gonna enjoy. Man, check out the view. This canyon. I think there was a place like this near Phoenix. Man, this view is just incredible. It's a smaller version of Grand Canyon. That way, crossing over the creek. And here's Roosevelt Lake from by Roosevelt Dam. And that's the freeway that takes you to Payson. Payson is about an hour drive north from Roosevelt Dam on Highway 188. It's a small city, or large town if you prefer, with a population of less than 20,000. It's a gateway town for Mogollon Rim to the east and Tonto National Bridge State Park to the north. They may not be as popular as Grand Canyon or Sedona, but they are a scenic part of Arizona nonetheless. The city of Payson is a pretty good size. Alright, this is where I'm gonna sleep tonight. I think I came up quite a bit high in Payson. This is Mogollon Rim. It's supposed to be 7,000 feet in elevation. I plugged in my car in Payson Village Shopping Center and had my dinner at Thai Station Restaurant just around the corner. and it was one of the best Thai food I've ever had. It's amazing how these no-name towns support such good Asian foods these days. We sure came a long way since the days of Egg Foo Young and Chop Suey. This is Mughal and Rim Visitor Center. This will be the starting point of Mughal and Rim Drive. The next morning, I was off to Mughal and Rim. The plan was to drive from the east end of the road, starting from the Rim Visitor Center, and end back in Payson. The Rim Road is paved for a few miles, and then becomes dirt road all the way out to Highway 87. I will stop at Mughal and Rim Viewpoint and Baker Butte, and then come back out to 87 to get to Tonto Natural Bridge and Fossil Creek. At least that was the plan. I got lost after Mughal and Rim Viewpoint and ended up about 30 miles north on 87. Here's what I ended up with. I had to skip Tonto Natural Bridge and Fossil Creek and went to Flagstaff directly via Happy Jack. So I got to see Mormon Lake and Lake Mary, which I wouldn't have otherwise. But first, I hiked the Rimtop Trail starting from the western entrance to Wood Canyon Overlook. Okay, now I'm finally at Woods Canyon Vista. That's me and my acrophobia. The views from Rimtop were more like the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina than anything in Arizona. It's a rolling carpet of green hills. No soaring cliffs, buttes, or hoodoos. Back at the parking lot. It was only about 5 miles, but I was pretty exhausted. Running up the hill in Superstition Mountains 2 days ago triggered post-exertional sickness. It felt like I was suffering from a cold or my case of a flu. I made a stop at Bear Canyon Lake. It was a few miles over the way, but I'm not coming back here anytime soon, so I thought I should see it. Well, it wasn't much. I mean, it was a lake deep in the mountains, but I've seen many better lakes in the Sierras and the Rockies, and I had to climb down quite a bit to get to the water. With the post-exertional sickness and all, I didn't feel like making it all the way down, so I just viewed it from the above and moved on. Oh wait, where am I? Soon after, I got lost and got into a rough road. I'll get the shit over the wood. I almost scraped it. This road took me down to a creek deep in the mountains. I think I took a turn off Forest Road 21 instead of continuing on the Rim Road. That took me to Barbershop Canyon. Then I took Forest Road 95 to get back onto Highway 87. That's what it looked like on my Google timeline. I was going to sleep in my car in Flagstaff, so I had to take a bath. I crossed Highway 87 and found a dispersed campground on the other side. Nobody was around, so I got naked, took a bath, and headed up north to Flagstaff. That's Mama Lake, I believe. I had to take Lake May Road off Highway 87 to get to Flagstaff. It's probably less traveled road. You usually take Highway 260 to get to Camp Verde, and then take Interstate 17 to get to Flagstaff. Lake May Road, on the other hand, goes through Happy Jack, and you get to see Mormon Lake and Lake Mary on the way. It's just perfect. I pulled into Tesla charging station off Highway 89 in Flagstaff. I first filled my water jugs from the soda fountain in the Circle K store. Then I cooked the rice for dinner before crawling onto the back of my car to sleep. Soda machines are usually a good source of drinking water. They usually don't mind you filling a gallon jug or two. Next morning, I grabbed a coffee from the Circle K store before the sunrise, and I was off to Page. Grand Canyon is just a stone's throw away, but I wasn't going there. I've been there many times. I don't have time for it this time around. I'm going to Page instead, where I've been yet. We just passed Tuba City, about halfway between Flagstaff and Page. The scenery straightened western once again, north of Flagstaff. Highway 89 goes over a pass between Bitter Spring and Page. At the top of the pass, you get a very good look at Vermilion Cliffs across the Colorado River. As strange as it is, it's the first time I've been to Page. That's probably because you have to take a big circular detour around the vast Escalante National Monument to get to it from north. From south, it's separated by Grand Canyon. From east, Navajo National Monument. It's an island surrounded by national parks and monuments. You can go through Escalante on the road if you want, but that takes much longer than the detour on the paved roads, and it takes heavy toll on your car. The closest I got to it was Monument Valley back in 2021, which is about 120 miles from Page, on the other side of Navajo National Monument. I was camping in Blue Mountains near Monticello and commuting to Canyonlands, Arches National Park, etc. There was no charging station between Blanding and Page, so the Monument Valley was as far as could make back then. The horseshoe bend was quite a sight. I've seen just about everything in the West, and the horseshoe bend, seen it for the first time, still impressed me. The dark green river circling 1,000 feet tall Red Rock Tower was quite a sight to behold. I sure would like to go down to the river the next time and look up. I'll probably have to kayak from Lee's Ferry for that. Maybe I can stop at Waterhouse Canyon entrance and hike up the canyon as well. That would be a kick-ass trip. Lake Mead or Lake Powell? That's the perennial question. Lake Mead is more popular because of its proximity to Las Vegas. But there are more things to do around Lake Powell if you're an outdoor type, because of the proximity to 3 national monuments. You don't even have to go too far. Lone Rock State Beach, just north of Page, kicks butt. If you have an off-road vehicle, you can go all the way to Ocean Point for the Martian landscape with water. That's where the Planet of the Apes was filmed. Or you can backpack to Rainbow Bridge by the lake from Navajo National Monument. Proximity to Horseshoe Bend is just a bonus. If you don't mind going further, you can hike Buckskin Gulch or the Wave. Both are accessible from the Wire Pass trailhead in Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. The permit to hike the Wave is hard to come by, but you don't need one for the new Wave. If you're going to Glen Canyon Dam, you should stop here and hike this 2-mile loop. It's right next to the dam. Waterhouse Canyon was the highlight of Page for me. It is often cited as an alternative to Antelope Canyon, but that's only the portion east of the Highway 89. The western portion to Colorado River is much deeper and visceral. It reminded me of the feeling I got when I first saw Coyote Gulch in Utah. You can walk along the rim all the way to the Colorado River. I didn't find any way to get down to the bottom, however. You might be able to from the east of the highway, but you won't be able to get down to the river because there are several big drops on the canyon floor. At least not without a technical canyoning gear. But you probably can hike up the canyon from the Colorado River if you can get to the entrance of the canyon on a boat or kayak. And this is pretty deep and scary. I don't know if I want to go down. If it's that deep, I don't think I will. I didn't go to Antelope Canyon. You have to sign up for the tour at a set time, and it takes a big chunk of your time, in addition to $80 you have to shell out. I didn't mind contributing to Navajo Nation, but planning my day around it was too much of trouble, since I was here only for 2 days. That reminds me, I need to pay them for Waterhouse Canyon. I was supposed to get a permit for it, but nobody knew where to get it, so I just went in without the permit. I came back out and took a bath near the highway behind the rock, away from the roving eyes. Then I went in town and ate at Mandarin Gourmet Buffet. This place apparently was a favorite stop for Korean tour groups. There were busloads of Korean speakers when I got there. It's no wonder their buffet sported kimchi. Then I went to Tesla charging station in Page to sleep. It's 6:30 in the morning, Courtyard Lodge parking lot next to Tesla charging station. If the charging station is in the hotel parking lot, sleeping in the lot probably is a better idea, just in case the station gets busy. This is Highway 89A, also known as. Next morning, I was off to Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. The plan was to take the US 89A, the scenic road to Vermilion Cliffs, and then get to the Y Pass in the north via House Rock Road. I would then hike Buckskin Gorge. Well, House Rock Road was a dirt road for about 20 miles. I went up for about 30 minutes and then decided to turn around. I wasn't going to get to Y Pass till the middle of the afternoon at that pace. Stopping at Lee's Ferry didn't help, obviously. Lee's Ferry, by the way, isn't really worth the detour and the cost. It's part of the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, and you have to pay $30 if you don't have the pass. It's worth only if you're kayaking the Colorado River or hiking the entire length of Buckskin Gorge. I decided to go back to Page and take the US-89 instead. The upshot is that I wasted half a day circling Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. This rugged area really needs cycling as a vehicle. Next time I'll rent a jeep for a couple of weeks to explore the area.
Crossed over and looking down on the Colorado River here at the moment on one of the bridges. So I might have dropped.
Navarro Bridge was quite a sight. It reminded me of Rio Grande Bridge in New Mexico or Twin Falls Bridge in Idaho. It's right before this ferry road, and it made a trip that was otherwise wasted worthwhile. Here's the 14-day parking lot in Lee's Ferry, where you can leave your car and embark on your journey down the river or through the canyon. Here I'm turning onto House Rock Road and Vermilion Cliffs National Monument, only to learn that the road is unpaved. I'm gonna turn around and go back to Page. Guess what? The Escalante Trail goes through Vermilion Cliffs. I saw it also in Utah near Bryce Canyon as I was coming down on Highway 12 in 2021. The guy apparently has been all over the Four Corners states. Isn't this a perfect setting for spaghetti western? So I got back to Page and went back up Highway 89. This is the view of Lake Powell from the Vista Point on the way. Here's the Lone Rock Beach. Shortly after crossing to Utah was the Lone Rock State Beach on Lake Powell. It's a lake in the desert like Lake Havasu. I don't know what it is, but the clear water and sands always tickles me. I just have to jump into it. It makes you feel like you're in South Pacific. It's poor man's Tahiti.
Yes. Very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Now I'm passing by Escalante National Monument. I originally planned to stop at Big Waters and go into Escalante National Monument, but I still had a little bit of hope left that I could hike Buckskin Gulch, at least for a few hours. So I pressed on. I got to the junction in the middle of the afternoon, but the road to White Pass was unpaved for about 10 miles. So I gave up and continued on to Canap and then St. George. I'll tell you, you really need a high clearance vehicle to explore this rugged area. I got off the freeway for the Virgin River Canyon recreation area just to check it out. I left Arizona far behind at that point. Then I came across Virgin River State Park off Interstate 15, and I thought it was in Nevada. It was in Arizona. As you travel from Utah to Nevada on Interstate 15, you glance the corner of Arizona, and this state park was in the corner. Okay, I got down to the river. It's a nice sandy beach. It was a great find. I couldn't see the river from the parking lot, so I thought the river was dry. Then I walked down and found this sandy beach, and the river was flowing right next to it. I rested there for a while till the sun set behind the cliff across the river. And here's the view I'm looking at while lying down on the beach. The sun's just setting on Virgin Canyon. I'm back home, Nevada. Supposedly my home state. I have a Nevada license plate and Nevada driver's license. The Virgin Canyon is much underappreciated. This is a beautiful place. This is like a Logan's Canyon in Utah. Well, this is Utah. But on the other side of Utah, up in north. I drove to Mesquite, my usual stop on the way back. The Virgin River Casino there used to cost $25 per night. This time, however, they wanted $75. No thanks, I said, and moved on to Casablanca Casino, where Tesla chargers are located. It turned out the casino had a separate lot for RVs set aside in a dark corner. It was a great place for overnight camping. I used the bathroom and climbed onto the back of my car to sleep. See, this part of Lake Mead National Recreation Area. I had two more places to hit before heading home. The first was Valley of Fire State Park, about 30 minutes before Las Vegas. I've heard good things about this park, so I had to put it on my list. And I'm glad I did. This park is worthy of a national park. I would say it's more spectacular than, say, Pinnacles National Park or Joshua Tree. It has everything. Spectacular rock formations, slot canyons, and sandy desert. And bighorn ships all over the park. I highly recommend this park. Oh wait, this bighorn ship. Now he's checking me out. Hey dude, get out of my way. I'm gonna go. I'm just spending the morning here on my way to Las Vegas, so I had only enough time to hike one trail. I picked 7 Wonders Loop, which takes about 2 hours. It is supposed to go through many spectacular sceneries, including fiery rock formations and slot canyons. I just cross over the road and continue on the trail. So this is the second half of the loop, double loop actually. Now this is turning into a weird slot canyon. And speaking of slot canyon, this is the real one. I've never seen a hummingbird walking like that. Huh. So just came out to the parking lot of White Domes. And the trail continues past the parking lot. Valley of Fire was created by people similar to Superstition Mountains. It obviously didn't rise high enough to become mountains, but enough to create the colorful rock formations. From the parking lot, it's an uphill sandy trail. Then it comes to steep downhill. This was the set for the movie The Professionals. So there's a railroad tie sticking out from the wall. It's another beautiful view on the home stretch of the trail. Well, it was a great hike and a great find. Valley of the Fire. Oh, it is a red box. This is incredible. I was done with the park in the morning. Then I went to Las Vegas. I had a lunch in one of my Korean restaurants in town, and then I checked into Thunderbird Motel on the strip. Had a little hassle checking in. They wanted to charge me the amenity fee. I talked to Priceline and they reimbursed me for it. So the total price remained at $37. Pretty decent motel for the price, except for the check-in hassle. This is the thing about hotels in Las Vegas. They advertise dirt cheap prices and then charge extra fees at the check-in. You need to carefully make sure that there's no extra fees before making reservation. The next day, I came across this rather tacky-looking casino town called Prim on my way to California. I stopped there only because Tesla charging station was there. This town apparently started with a gas station with a bootlegging operation by a guy named Whiskey Pete. The town was later named State Line because, well, it's between California and Nevada. Another guy named Ernest Prim came along and bought the land and built a coffee shop and a motel. It later became a family resort town and renamed Prim in 1996. Today the roller coasters and such are all closed and it became a semi-ghost town. Except for the Bonnie and Clyde exhibition with their getaway car in Buffalo Bill's Museum. The plan was to go up Highway 395 and then soak in Buckeye Hot Springs. I had to first traverse the I-15 though, and Mojave Desert happened to be in the way. The road to Teutonia Peak was closed when I was there in the spring, so I wanted to try it again just in case it was open. Well, it wasn't. Simon Road to Teutonia Peak was still closed. So I continued on to Lone Pine on Highway 395. Yep, the Sima Road. Tesla charging station in Yama.
Now
Yeah.
take exit 206 on the right.
20 miles from Lone Pine. Seeing close to High Sierra. Heading city soon. Back at Tesla charging at Lone Pine. So on the last leg of the trip, and my car is stuck in charging station. It refuses to charge. It says charging disabled when using manual release. I don't know what the heck that means. So I've been on the phone with the Tesla service, and we tried a couple of things but didn't fix the problem. And looks like I have to tow the car to the service center. And the nearest service center is Bakersfield, about 175 miles away. So it looks like I have to work it out with the Tesla insurance, see if I can get my car towed in. Hopefully they can fix it. So it's a big mess. It looks like I'm stuck at the Lone Pine Ellis for tonight. We'll see what happens. I called Tesla roadside assistance and they couldn't fix it. They said I need to have it towed to the nearest Tesla service. That would be Bakersfield, about 160 miles away. Tesla insurance will cover it for 60 miles, and I had to pay for the rest. I waited a few hours for the tow that was coming from Bakersfield. As the driver was loading the car onto the bed, I wanted to try the charging for one last time. It started charging again, so I sent the tow away. Tesla paid them half instead of the full price. I felt bad for the driver who wasted 6 hours, so I gave him a tip of $100. I still have no idea what the problem was. Maybe dust got into the charging port and made the connection flaky. It's been working fine since then. At this point, I couldn't risk getting stranded far away from Tesla Service Center, so I decided to drive south towards Bakersfield instead of north towards Sonora Junction. I would just stop at Miracle Hot Springs again on the way. I got to the hot springs at 2 in the morning. As late as it was, or as early depending how you look, I needed to dip in the hot spring because I was too stressed out to sleep. I soaked under the Milkway and slept in the parking lot of Remington Hot Springs, about a mile down the canyon road. Next morning, I took Highway 99 back home.